Why don't we give them something to talk about?
Hi, I'm Jade,
I'm Annabelle.
and welcome to our show.
Today, we get to talk about some gossip.
I'm so excited, and we get to talk a little bit about life. So, how was your April?
It's been great, except for last Monday, I ate shit big time coming out of my house into my garage. So I'm sad to say that we've had about a week and a couple of days now of no working out
Yeah.
and feeling it, let me tell you.
Yeah, let me tell you.
So basically, there's 3 steps down to my garage. I went down step 1, step 2, and then I said, I'm going to fly from here.
You didn't make it very far,
No.
but you landed hard.
I landed hard on both my ankles. Best part is I immediately called my husband, who hung up on me
Not once.
twice. The third time he finally answered and he had to come down. I'm like, what did you think when you walked out? Because I can't imagine opening the garage door and I was just at the bottom. I can see myself seeing someone else and I would have been laughing. But anyway,
You don't even remember what happened. You're
I
like,
cannot.
What? How
Yeah,
did I get
I
in the house?
cannot remember. Once I fell, I remember that I was ow, 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 ow. It hurt so bad. And then I called my husband and I didn't even call him till I was sure that I was going to be able to move. So I thought I broke my ankles. That's exactly what it felt like. And my left one did like this popping sound because it was almost like I landed in a crouch. So that's what it felt like.
I believe you.
I did it because my knees also were hurting. But it was just completely with my feet under me. Anyway, somehow I get back up those stairs with my husband's help, get on the couch. For 2 days, zero movement on that leg. Zero. I didn't go to the doctor because I could tell that I could move it, wiggle my toes. And I have actually broken top of my foot. And I'm wondering if it's the same one now because I don't remember. It's doing the same thing. Lucas was a baby. I was carrying everything, high chair and the rolly thing, walking to my mom's garage into my it. And I remember I had socks on and you could see the bones sticking up. And I was terrified that it was through the skin.
Oh, yeah.
So I can't look, I can't look. So Dean had to take my sock off. So anyway, I've done it
That's
again. Less
terrible.
less painful. My point being that they don't do anything for that. So when
No,
I
they
went
don't.
to the doctor, it's not like they do any. I took Tylenol, but I think they put it in a boot or something. But what's crazy is, so it's taken the whole week and it still hurts. I did go to the doctor and he explained what it was, and it could take 6 weeks. And I was thinking, there's no way because the healing was so fast from Monday to Friday. It still hurts. It's still stiff. Anyway, so that would be the biggest thing. No, it wouldn't.
No one it. You're missing another. So that happened to you. What happened to your husband?
He got into a car accident.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable. Well, I that's deceiving. Somebody hit him. He didn't get into anything.
No, somebody got in front of him and he was forced to hit them.
Yeah, there was no choice. Basically, he was going straight. They were making a left in front of him at in an intersection with no light, no stop sign, 2-lane road. So our car has been in the shop now. Gotta say, my insurance handled it great because I went through my own insurance, not the other person's insurance, even though everyone has accepted the blame on their side,
Yeah.
including their insurance. But the day after the accident, I believe I had the rental car and the car in the shop and it's going to be done this week. And we cannot wait because we were given a Ford Bronco 2023 or 2024. And I do love Fords.
Yeah.
I've been a Ford owner.
Found off-road dead.
The same for me. I like to explain it as being in a car without tires. You have to live in Nebraska to understand, though, what our roads are like.
Oh my God.
We're a haven for potholes.
Yep.
If you're a pothole, you want to be here.
Yeah.
Okay. And
Have the best life.
the
You'll
best
never
life
get
here.
billed.
Yeah, you will forever live in your glory. Anyone remember the sinkhole that took down 3 cars at the light? That's Nebraska. You feel everything. So we can't wait to get our car back. Okay, but for good old Toyota. I think that's it though. Those were the 2 things.
Yeah.
Those are the pretty big ones.
Pretty big ones for you.
But everything is on the mend. How about you?
Yeah. It's been great for me. No extra drama here. You know, a little bit of medical drama, but that's
Hello, you also hurt your back.
Okay. Yes. I fucked up at work, twisted too hard, and had severe debilitating back pain, which has also stopped us from going to the
Yeah.
gym. Hopefully soon, on the mend. I work tomorrow. We'll see if I don't fuck it up more, but
Don't.
I can't keep affording to not go to the damn gym. And then my daughter turned 8.
Yes.
My little 8-year-old. She's so excited. She's already, I mean, she
Going
was
to
already
turn it.
saying that she's 8. And my
Yeah.
husband keeps going, "You're still 7. You're still 7." She's like, "I'm 8. I'm a woman now." So I
She's
guess I
living
got
her
a woman
best
in the
life.
house.
Looking forward to her party.
Yes, we're gonna go to her favorite place, out in Mahoney, their activity center, and they're just gonna run around. She's gonna get too hot.
Yeah.
She's gonna throw up on the drive home. I can't wait.
It's going to be exactly what you expected.
Yeah.
100%. You're not going to be surprised.
Nope, there's gonna be no shock.
Penny's
She's having a
excited to go.
sleepover with her grandparents,
Mm.
Gigi and her pop-up the day before,
Good
so
times.
I can prep and do everything I need to do before that damn party, because let me tell you,
Very nice.
it's exhausting.
Children.
I didn't celebrate my birthday growing up very much. I remember having parties and stuff since I was homeschooled. In my mind, it's unnecessary. But
Of course.
for a small child who goes to school now and has lots of friends,
Yeah. Yeah. That's like so fun.
it's everything she wants and more to have a huge birthday party. Gross. I hate it. I
People-
love her. So I guess we do make sacrifices for
You
our
do.
children.
You do what you got to do.
We do what we got to do. But really, what I'm excited for is all the juicy gossip I have been seeing in the book world and in the music industry. So
Let's say this, though. When we were talking about gossip for the month, we try and see what's out there. And then we also try to wait to closer to recording to make sure we have the most current information.
yeah,
No joke. When we first brought this up, Jade said, I'm not finding much gossip. Like she was looking and she literally showed me there wasn't much going on. And then let me tell you, this past week,
a bam,
we
a
got
bam.
everything.
Holy,
Everything
and more.
and more. Yeah.
We
It
had to cut
keeps-
a little bit.
It keeps coming.
Yeah, we had to cut a little bit.
Yeah,
'cause
we
I
had to
was
make
like,
choices.
I don't think we need this. Like, we're gonna be already overtime
Yeah, we're going to be over time.
unless you want to listen to like 5 hours of us talking.
We could.
Do a live broadcast of our show one day. Like too much happening. Let's get into it.
Yeah, by the time we're done, there's one listener that my mom. We just hung in there.
We love
She hung
Mom.
in there. We love Mom.
Thanks, Mom, for listening to us and always supporting us.
Support.
Let's get into a little bit of book gossip.
Of it.
I'm super excited.
For those who
Plagiarism?
think
Nope.
books are boring,
Let me tell you what. Is it plagiarism or is it influence? Let's talk about the most recent drama and what kind of brought this up. Red Queen in Powerless. So I have never read either. I honestly hadn't even really heard much of either.
which is crazy because I understandably never heard of either, not even much.
Yeah.
Nothing about them because I'm not into the fantasy world.
And I am. And yet, nope, I didn't know anything about them until it started popping up in my reels. Well, let me just take a look into them. Both of them sound like excellent books. So I
Mhm.
was like, you know what? I'm going to buy both of them. I'll probably like them. And we'll just see if there's any similarities.
Well, you posted a reel with the books, and I said, oh, pretty. So I was, you know what? I'm going to buy these books.
Look, all right, they're pretty enough for me to own.
And because I am a committed and devoted person, I'm going to get these books, but now I have to read them.
I know I'm going to read them right away. At first I was like, sure, yeah, I'll read them too. And then I'm like, oh shit, I ain't got time for this.
Yeah. It was so funny because wait, are we talking about these? I can read them this weekend. And you said, yeah, let me see how long they are. Yes, I can too. And then you're like, so I've started with the audiobook.
Yeah, which we won't get into today, but let me tell you, Anima wants to have
We need to have an
underrated.
in-depth. Yeah, for sure.
I did a super summary on the books because I don't mind spoilers. I enjoyed them. So I listened to about 3 hours worth of stuff and I came to a conclusion of my own. And I'm assuming you have a conclusion a little bit of your own.
I have a little bit because I read all of Red Queen.
Yes.
Posted my review of the Red Queen, which I love so much, on my page, Given Something to Annabelle. It was so good. And then I started Powerless. I'm not very far into it, but I can tell you there's marks in there, not actual marks. Believe me,
never
I
write
would never.
or mark a book.
Safe sticker stuff. But immediately I put stuff down. So no spoilers.
No spoilers, no spoilers. But let's talk a little bit about why they're saying Red Queen and Powerless are the same.
Mm-hmm.
So both of them have a rigid oppressive class system, and both of them are low-born main female characters. And then both of them have the romantic interests be princes.
Yep.
Because there's two of them. There's two selections, and both of them So, yes, I can see right off the bat where people are like, wow, this is super, super similar.
And there's more.
And there's more. There's betrayal, manipulation, and trust issues. I mean, in one book, it has a sister that's a seamstress. In the other book, it's a best friend that's the seamstress.
Interesting.
Rebellion,
Mhm.
both of them join one. There's romance tangled with politics. There's who am I really? Big shocks on who they really are.
Mhm.
So, yes, I could see when you're looking at the highlights how closely they sound the same. I did the quick summaries and then I also started Powerless. I got into Powerless and
Which I can see now why. I don't know what you think of any or how much you've read of any, but I can see where you would like Powerless more. I am going to say Red Queen came out first, Powerless came out second. When I added them to my reading list, I didn't read any reviews, but I can see their average stars,
mm,
and Powerless had like zero point 0.3 stars higher than Red Queen.
yeah,
So right now, finishing Red Queen, I can tell you it was plot, 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 zero spice, hint of romance. There was nothing that detracted you from the action. Powerless, I've just started, nothing's happened except she encountered one of the princes. She's going to steal from him, which, by the way, literally what happened in the Red Queen. But he leaves. She doesn't find out who he is, just like in the Red Queen. But that interaction compared to the interaction of Mare and the prince when she steals from him in Red Queen,
mm,
it's already more romance and Powerless,
yes.
like a
Somebody
physicality.
somebody said that Powerless is romance with plot, Red Queen is plot with romance.
Mm.
And I like that because when I was doing the summaries, they go chapter by chapter, I could absolutely see where and how that would be completely. So, all in all, did you think it was plagiarism or did you think it was influence?
I think it's, again, I haven't read a lot of Powerless yet, but it's very, I don't know if I would call, I think plagiarism is more specific where you literally take a chunk of something and put it into yours verbatim and then write around it. So no, but the similarities are pretty major. In a Red Queen, I think the difference is, yeah, you're either born or you're not born with this blood, silver blood, red blood. In this other one, from what I gather, there was a plague. So the plague enhanced the stronger
Yep.
people, not
Mhm.
stronger physically, stronger in lots of ways. Then everyone else was left, but there's no difference in blood.
Yes.
But the difference is in their hierarchy, however, but that had to have already been there before,
Yeah.
right? A king and then the people below him. And I just can't get past why are there two seamstresses? Because in the context of the whole Red Queen that I read,
Yeah.
the seamstress isn't even like a big deal. It's
No,
not
that's
like she does a finale in the book.
Yeah, that's just the sister's job that earns that
Yeah.
money, in which why she can't be sent to war.
I haven't gotten into all of Powerless, but if I find out that something happened to her friend's hand as the seamstress best friend, I'm going to start to get more suspicious. Okay. Because that happened in Red Queen. But the fact that it's, again, two princes, so two brothers, they each have a different mom, both books. We're starting to get a little bit, the girl is a pickpocket in both, a
Yes.
thief in both.
Yes.
You've got to wonder. It's hard to say because how many other books are like that?
Exactly.
But it's very specific to me.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
very specific to me.
I would say not plagiarism because obviously there's no direct copying, but I think it was very, very, very heavily inspired in trope mirroring.
I wouldn't even say yes, trope, but inspiring. No, I think she took that book. To me, so far, the Powerless author read Red Queen and said,
I can do better.
yeah, or something, and did something because trope wise, you could still do the same trope without having. First of all, you don't need to have a best friend, right? The seamstress was barely anything in the other book. It was her sister, and it was a closer relationship, and she's affected by what happens. She kind of causes what happens to her sister. In this one, what do you need her for? Or why even is she a seamstress? You could have completely made her a baker. Like she could have been anything else. Also, why the princes have two different moms? Like it's
What?
so specific.
It is. The
So
only difference I'll say for that is that the betrayal is different between them. Because,
okay.
in one book, you had the big betrayal for that one. And then this book, you'll see the big betrayal later, but it is different. But again, why do you need two
Hmm.
princes as both love interests? And then Have them be half brothers with different moms.
Yes, and one is gonna
Why
be
couldn't
king,
one have been like
one
a
is
guard
something else.
or like the
Yeah.
best friend or like something?
I know that I think everyone knows whatever your specific book is, unless it's like self-help, because those are differently tailored to different
Mhm.
needs. If you like the overall genre thriller or romance or fantasy, there is kind of like a guideline that all
It
authors
is.
use, right? And
It's so hard to be original.
yes. And that applies to everything, movies, TV, and stuff. So I know that there's similarities. It's just that to me, it's extremely specific. It
Mhm.
could end up maybe just that beginning part, and now the rest is going to be totally different. I haven't finished, but at this point, to me, I think it's not plagiarism, but I also don't think it's nothing.
Yeah. And saying that, that's lots of books. Because let's talk about a couple of other books that have been kind of, thrown into that plagiarism or influence. In 2022, author Lynn Freeman alleged that Tracy Wolf's Crave series was substantially similar to her own unpublished manuscript, Blue Moon Rising. Just recently this year, I saw, a federal court ruled in March that the author Tracy Wolf did not plagiarize her best-selling Crave series and that there was no found copyright infringement regarding the allegations from Lynn Freeman, ruling that the similarities between the works were common genre trope, not theft. Of course, I
I
haven't
will
read either of these.
Okay, but I do know there's a little bit more about that one, and it's that they shared the same publisher.
Yes.
So part of the case was that Tracy Wolf, I don't know if she was the bigger author or whatever it was, that the company gave her that manuscript,
Mm,
this other woman's manuscript, and that's how she created her books. I can see where that would happen, but since I don't think any of us are going to read Blue Moon, it's not
yeah, it's
released.
not released. You can't
So
even look at it.
you can't compare it, but the fact that, it went to court and she lost her case, yeah, I agree with the trope thing, it's very similar.
It's just there's just a lot of similarities in that
But the
in the
trope could be
tropes.
similar, but the story can't, and that's where I'm stuck on these ones,
Yeah. And then another accusation of plagiarism was against my favorite, Sarah J. Maas, and the
which
Court of Thorn and Roses series.
which we did discuss in last month's,
Mhm.
little chat where I said, "How did this one get to be so big over so many?"
Yeah.
But anyway, this is very interesting to me.
Yeah, because it was largely centered on allegations for Anne Bishop's Black Jewel trilogy, which was published in 2003, 2004 ish. While Mass noted that Bishop was an influence, critics argue that the similarities extend beyond mere inspiration to include comparable characters, lore, and plot points. You know, what I found interesting was, though, I think she said in the past that the first book, especially, was inspired by Beauty and the Beast. But recently, I got a book for my daughter. She had happened to pick it out, and it was called The Legend of Tam Lin,
Which she brought over for
which
me to read.
I brought it over for you to read because I thought it was just hugely, hugely influenced, I guess. But basically, it's a Scottish lore about a mythical being called Tam Lin.
Yes.
It's two different words. It's Tam and then Lin with two N's.
Mhm,
It's still though Tam
mhm.
Lin, who,
Folklore people,
yep, it was,
Scottish.
and I think it was just oddly, incredibly similar. And this book, the Scottish lore, not even just the lore, because obviously it's probably been around forever, but this book specifically was out before
Yes.
Court of Thorns and Roses. And if you look on the front picture,
Mhm.
there's a guy wrapped in thorns and roses.
And
And
I'm
the girl who's the main female
Mhm.
looks exactly like Feyre.
And since I'm not, I'm not gonna say I'm not a fan of hers, I am gonna try the books on my own when I've got time. And I just think taking something that's Scottish lore, which has been around, I promise you, for centuries, and it's something that not everyone would see.
Yeah,
Nobody here would hear about that.
no.
No one here would. You'd have to be maybe a scholar in Scotland or raised in a community that passed lore down. So it's very easy to steal from that. Now, taking a little folklore and then expanding it into a whole world building that changes it a little bit. And yes, but at that point, I feel like you should say, my starting point was the Scottish lore. But I mean, the same name, the drawing on the cover of this book, again, released before her book, and then the similarities in the story as well. So it's feel like it is the same.
Me too.
And you could at least say it. Like she could have at least said, if it is true,
Yeah.
I am telling you right now, it can't be a coincidence, the name. The same name?
The same
Come
name.
on.
Merging it together and getting rid of an N.
Yeah, that's odd.
Yeah.
I mean, the girl's name in the story was like
Janet.
Janet. It's so random.
It was a pretty lame name, but same concept. He lived on one side of the border. She lived on the opposite side of the border.
Mhm,
He was cursed by this woman witch,
mhm.
and she loved him enough that she had to try to save him. Saw the ugliest part of him, completed the witch's trial, and he was freed. Sounds a little bit suspicious to me as I was reading it, and I put it down even in my review. And I read this last year in May. Sounds an awful lot like you know what from you know who.
Yeah.
I'll say any more than that, but
I feel if she had taken that, first of all, you have to get permission. And second, she could say, hey, my story started off from this amazing lore.
yeah.
Because, yeah, granted, she did add everything else to it. But now I'm questioning, did she?
Yeah. So I don't know if she ever claimed that it was influenced that by that Tamlin folklore, but I know she did claim that Beauty and the Beast was inspiring, like a little bit of inspiration to her for that first book.
And is it more than inspiring? I mean, lady, now we're getting to 3 points where you're like,
That's
"Bitch."
why it's so difficult when it comes to books for me to say if it's been plagiarized or inspired by. I think it can be heavily inspired by.
Yeah.
And then I think it can be, just that common trope that you see in everything. So you can't separate them.
Well, like an example for me in thrillers would be there's tons of books where it's a husband and wife,
Absolutely.
right? A whole
Exactly.
bunch.
And I don't
A
ever
whole
hear,
bunch might have affairs.
yeah, and I
Uh,
don't really hear much in that.
Copying each other's
Yeah,
work, and
in
it doesn't
that
come up.
genre, I don't hear people going after each other as much as I see it in the fantasy.
I think it's because, no, I don't want to offend anybody.
Send them.
Well, no, because in a fantasy world, you have to mentally have just a lot. It's world building,
Yes, it
right?
is.
Whereas a thriller, it's everyday life. So there is no building. You're just thinking of a story.
Yeah.
Um,
And it could
and
be
then,
anywhere.
yeah, it could be anywhere.
Could be overseas,
It
could be
could be
here,
anywhere.
and it wouldn't matter. It would be suddenly different
Yeah.
from a previous one that you read.
In a fantasy story, because you have to come up with names for, I don't know, the type of people in it,
Yes.
the character names, the world names, that it's easier, I think, to look at it and see. That's very similar to something else.
Yeah.
That's copied. That's this, that's that.
Mm.
Whereas because the other ones are more romances, romance is also very similar, like thrillers. They're,
'Cause even when we were talking about Powerless and New Queen, your husband's currently reading Red Rising. And so I want to read that too. And I was reading the back cover and I gave it to you because it sounded so similar
Yeah.
to these two. But again, it's fantasy. And then when I was trying to look it up to see if it was very similar, it's not. It's
that's what he ended up telling.
incredibly different.
Yeah, that's what he told me.
But still, I think fantasy is just really difficult to keep it different enough, but also it sounds the same in the end.
Yeah.
It just is.
Is this the same? Is that the same? I was asking him all these questions. And then when I kind of gave him a little bit of the plot of the Red Queen, it's not the same.
Yeah, it's
So
different enough.
so for that one, I wouldn't even say it's inspired by anything.
Mm.
Yeah, maybe they had classes, but that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. You're going to have in fantasy worlds classes all the time.
All the time. I mean, look, like Hunger Games, when I was reading how some of these compare. So let's talk about that too. Should books compare themselves to other books to entice readers? Because, right, they were using it. If you like the Hunger
Yeah.
Games
Okay.
and this and that, then you'll love this book. Then you go in already with that mindset that, okay, I like those books. Oh, wow, it's really like those books. I hate it when authors do that and they try to, and maybe it's not authors, it's probably the publishers because they're trying to get
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
to eat into it. They use popular books already in that to entice people to come and read these books.
Yeah. They do
And
say that a
so
lot.
then you're already coming in with this mindset. I see that a lot for Agatar and Fourth Wing right now.
And the thing is that for me, as not somebody who doesn't read stuff like that, like if somebody said, if you like Hunger Games or whatever, I have never read the books. I've seen a couple of the movies, I would immediately lose interest. I think it's like a good and a bad thing. If you have somebody, it could work either way.
It could.
But as an author, I would want to be as original as possible within the context of, it's not going to be 100% original because it can't be.
Yeah.
I don't know if I like the comparing. I think with books, it's hard to do that. Like you can do it with other media, but books, I think, should really try and stand on their own.
Yeah.
But that's just my opinion, because they can do it in a way where this book is kind of based off Cinderella or
Mhm.
a retelling of Beauty and the Beast
Yeah, I
or
like
whatever.
a retelling. If
Yeah,
you say it's a retelling of
that's
something, then
different.
I'm like, all right, I like that version. Maybe I'll like this version." Or, they'll do I mean, especially with Greek mythology, they're always coming
Yeah.
up with a story that's like essentially a retelling or
Yeah,
an
we're
inspiration
we're
of
gonna have a
using it.
book in our book club.
We are, and I'm very excited for it. Like Maze Read.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
That's even more exciting.
I know, it's Maze Read, and I'm very excited for it. But yes, I mean, because that's like, I don't know. It's just very difficult for me to separate them.
And also what I've noticed is when I read a book, I've gone into books completely blind maybe a couple times.
Mm.
And so at this point, how good it was when I didn't see anything coming or had no expectations compared to reading a book that says something like, oh, if you like this, if you like that, if
Yeah.
you've read this, if you read that. I like the not knowing better. It's more of a I can't think of a book, but, like, I think it might have been the Mindfuck series was one
Oh
example.
man, that series.
I went into it blind, and
Yeah.
to me, I'm like, "Okay, I'm gonna read this because I've seen it so freaking much, but I'm not into smut and all this stuff."
And it was just so much
It
more.
was so good.
Oh man, what a great
So,
series.
like, that's an example. I have noticed going into something completely blind and not knowing a damn thing about it has given me the best experience.
It's true. That's why I try not to read too much into the back cover
Mhm.
and why I do judge a book by its cover
Yeah.
because I'm more likely to pick it up and think, what is this? Tell me more.
Yeah.
But sometimes I do read the back of the book because I'm not sure. But then I go in with that expectation and then kind of, it leads you either up or it leads you down
And then
based off of it.
also talking about the similarities, there's times where I read the back of a thriller and in my first of all, I forget easily what I
I get you.
but when I read the back, I'm like, "Have I read this?" That's how similar some of these books are.
Oh, for
And
sure.
like you said, you just don't hear about it like you do in fantasy.
Yeah, for sure. Cause like there's a thriller that was just released and it sounded so much like a thriller I had just read that I physically had to go look
Mhm.
at the one I read and compared it to the one that it's so very close, except one's more of a modern take and one's not a modern take. But they're basically the fucking same thing to me.
Yeah,
I won't name names because I
and the
don't want
other
to, but
thing would be with books like that also is that they thrillers. My sister's like, I'm reading this book. I forgot the name of the book. She tells me the name and I said, oh, is it by this author? And she's like, no, it's this one. I look it up. They even have the same names, but the stories are different.
that's
That's in
that is
thrillers. Oh,
the ward was one of them,
yeah.
and the inmate, I think.
Oh,
And I
very
read both
similar.
of them because of whatever reason. Wait, these are the same fucking book, but one's like in a mental institute and one's
In a jail? Yeah. Frida McFadden. Yeah. Her books, that's the thing. But we discussed this before too. It's
mhm.
just when you're releasing books so quickly. But again, even in those situations, how many times have you heard of a problem where they're stealing from somebody else?
Yeah, not in thrillers. Not in thrillers.
It's
Yes, so thrillers never get
or romance. Have
you
you
know
heard of a
what?
romance one?
Or in romance. That's well, okay, yeah, because come on. Every lick, every
Yeah.
fold,
Every
every
breath I didn't know I was holding. You could literally say whoever wrote that the first time in a book, if we ever knew who that was, they could be like copyright infringement
yes.
for literally every book ever written after that.
Yes.
I do think that it's very specific to fantasy, again, because of the amount of time and thinking and planning. And
Work.
it's not easy to build a whole entire world with characters that then you get other characters that then become the main person of
Mhm,
another book. And then,
mhm.
you keep the series going. So I can see where they might be protective of that. But I mean,
I think you also still need to give your dues to those who came before you
mhm,
and those who will come after you. It's just the way books work. And I can't even tell you how many books come out in a year, but you got to think you've got indie authors, you've got big name authors. There's always books coming out of every type and taste. And
mhm,
some writing is going to hit differently than other writing.
mhm.
Like The Fourth Ring, I read that, the first one, and then the second one I realized this writing's trash and I'll never read it. But I read another book with dragons in it that had the same similar feel, and it was so much better. Again, I
But
won't name names for that,
okay,
but
but you're saying similar feel,
yeah.
right?
I mean, dragons, a school, a love interest. I mean, come on.
Yeah, like,
That could be considered plagiarism if that's what they're trying to get at. And I don't think they should get at that. I think you can call it heavily influenced. And I think that's where it should be
I
laid
think
down
it
at.
should be heavily influenced if you say something, right? Like Sarah J. Maas, and we're not saying she did do this, just to clarify. We're saying there's a book, it's a Scottish lore, and it has a character named
Tam.
Tam Lin, who's trapped in a forest, whose front cover artwork of the specific book is wrapped in thorns and roses. That's all we're saying.
Has a plain looking, light blonde hair girl
Hmm.
who looks like she's hunting for something. I'm just saying.
That's all we're saying.
That's all
So
we're saying.
all we're saying is
Stop
if,
calling it plagiarism.
yeah, first of all, look up the word plagiarism and then let's call it something different.
Yes.
But I think if you're going to be influenced or heavily influenced, there are certain times that you should make note of what influenced you
Yeah.
and not just a general in an interview say, yeah, this is like Beauty and the Beast. You don't even have to do that one. That's been done so many times
Yeah.
in so many fantasy books.
Yeah.
We are not talking about that kind of stuff.
Mm.
I think plagiarism is a harsh word. I don't know the Crave situation, but maybe using the word plagiarism is what got her to lose the case.
Yeah.
Copyright infringement.
Mm-hmm.
Also, she could have lost because she didn't copyright it. I mean, we don't know the reason because that's not detailed in our notes. But
Mm-hmm.
I just think that a lot of books are going to be similar. I think calling it plagiarism, saying someone plagiarized something without proof or evidence is inaccurate. And because things are so similar in these types of books,
But then does it open the door to copyright, right?
well, you should get permission.
Like,
But
I think we just live in a strange world
yeah,
when it comes to all of that stuff. Because let's talk a little bit. It's not copyright or infringement on any case, but fan fiction that
mhm,
inspires a writer to write a book based off of these characters from these other books. One that's very popular is Draco and Hermione.
that's copyright infringement.
They write books and then they get really popular and then they get a publisher to say, hey, this book was really good. Let's just change the names, keep everything else the same, even though it was inspired by a different author and stuff. And Alchemized is
That book.
a really big one that people I see are kind of torn between.
There's another word for that legally when you take, for example, characters like Harry Potter and
Mhm.
that you're literally stealing that person. Wish I could remember the name of what that is legally. So now it's not plagiarism, but it is copyright infringement as well as stealing something that somebody else created. Now you take it and you make it into the story you want to see. One big thing is everyone has this thing about Draco and Hermione, right?
Yes.
And somebody did this fanfic that's huge. Somebody could take legal action against that. And
What's even funnier is because you didn't read it.
it's
Uh,
on my list.
Yes, it is on your list. Not Alchemized, but I read the original version of what she put out and it screamed Handmaid's Tales to me. It was very original in a lot of parts, but still it was to me the Handmaid's Tale because she was a lowly muggle.
Yeah.
He was this rich officer in this house with a wife he didn't love. He had to probe and prod her for memories for the secret Dumbledore association. To me, she had to wear a red cape. She had to be a servant. It was to me.
So not only this person steal, I think it's like intellectual property, something like that. Legit is those characters are protected by copyright. They belong to somebody.
Yeah.
You can't take them and put them in your own story and do what you want with them. That's not allowed. But then for a publishing company to come and say, we love this story, it's making money, we want to make money, we're just going to change the names. That story still was stolen.
Yeah.
So, I mean, see, it's just so murky.
It is so
Because
murky.
how do you take a story that's supposed to be about a romance between a character from Harry Potter, but it gave you Handmaid's Tale vibes, right? So see, technically, if they had put anybody else's name in there, number one, it wouldn't have done as well
Exactly.
when it wasn't published.
Yeah, if it had just been her original story, if she had posted it as alchemized, it probably wouldn't be popular. She
It's
would have
because
never gotten
people,
published. She would
yep.
have never been seen.
But see, her story was probably a good story, sold it to the
Yep.
publisher, and then you no issue. I think it's crazy. I wonder if there was some deal they made or somehow, but
I don't know how it works for that
now
because
that
she's not the only one. There are other
yeah,
ones
there are
that
other ones.
became from fanfic to now published authors.
I wonder if it's unpublished work, it doesn't count.
Yeah, I think there's some
If
sort
you
of
don't make money.
yeah, there's some sort of protection because I know when her book was becoming popular, people were actually printing it out and making it into a real book and they were getting dragged. They were like, you can't print it out because she's not making any money off of it.
Oh,
It's not your property because it's Harry Potter,
mhm.
and you're selling it for profit for yourself by making it into a legitimate copy.
Oh,
So
so
before
they could get
Alchemized was
sued.
out, they were doing this where they were printing it off and making, oh my gosh, I should show you some of the pictures because they were doing a beautiful job. But yeah, again, it's so murky in the book world on what you can and cannot do
Well,
per what's allowed.
in my mind frame, and we won't get into this deep because it's a whole other topic that maybe we should add at one point, but AI could also write books. So AI is used for a lot of things right now. We use it. I'm not a fan of AI. I understand the use of it. Companies use it. So there's a lot of good things for it. But when you want to have AI write a whole book, have AI be an actor, have AI sing a song, have AI produce things, at that point, first of all, what's happening to our minds? Second, we're losing that gift of somebody who's intelligent enough to write a book, get a story, get all these ideas, put it out there, have people buy it, enjoy it, have them make more. We're going to lose all that. So to me, that is the hard part with books. That girl should have just never had those characters included and written a great book still. Like we said, who was going to read it initially?
It's hard
Mm.
because you can do it right where you can influence it because Allie Hazelwood wrote one of her books and she specifically said, I was inspired by Ren and Leia
Okay.
from the new Star Wars. That's who I pictured in my mind. So it was my version of a love story for them. But her story in no way represented Star Wars. She just pictured them in this role and because she wanted them to have this epic love romance. I
And
think you can do that.
yes,
And I think you can get away with that because
I
it's still
think,
your story. You were inspired.
yes, inspired. And that's what I was going to say about fanfics. If you want to write a fanfic about something, I mean, there's fanfics for everything. I think it's okay if you don't make money off it. I will say that. But the problem, again, with our current world is you could have good intentions. All it takes is one prints it out, makes it into a book, tries to sell it to a publisher, gets it sold. You're screwed, first of all. You have no rights to it. The
Mhm.
only person who has rights to it is the person who it actually belonged to begin with. I think everyone makes it hard for everyone else. You know, how there's always people ruin it for other people. But when it comes to, first of all, I think plagiarism is literally taking something from somebody else, putting it into your work and pretending it's yours. I don't necessarily think I think copyright infringement would be closer, but these types of books don't have that. Maybe somebody as huge as Sarah J. Maas might have a copyright protection,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But if you've
Even
already
then, I don't
taken
know
it,
how you can because it's just common.
fantasy, yeah.
Yeah. It's just a common thing in all fantasy books.
Yeah. I wish that we could just have all these books and there was no
Drama.
issues. Yeah, it would put me off. If somebody told me right now Sarah J. Maas is suing somebody for copyright infringement, I would immediately hate her because
I
I
would too.
get that it's yours. But first of all, she's made a shit ton of money.
Yeah.
She's continuing to put stuff out. She has a hardcore fan. She has a great life, like all this stuff. I mean, on paper, I'm not saying she has a perfect life, but
She's successful in
yeah.
her fantasy era.
Honestly, it should just be
And, like,
left
why?
to the lawyers and the companies, literary agents and stuff who, if they have an issue with what people are putting out, they can deal with it how they see fit, and the authors kinda should stay away from it,
Yeah.
because if they think hard enough, I think they would see that they also are taking from other people, and that is just, I mean, we
Yeah.
take from people,
Yeah,
like,
we do.
from each
Everything.
other, maybe, "Oh, this is how she handles this, that's a good way to do it. I'm gonna
Mhm.
take that and use it in my life." Very difficult.
I know. I thought it was fun to talk about because I think everybody's gonna have their own opinion.
Oh, yeah.
I think we just especially in the book world, especially in fantasy,
Mhm.
especially in this generation online and stuff, that we're going to have very, very strong opinions, and I don't think it should be that strong because people are now trying to get Powerless canceled, and I like Powerless better than Red Queen because I
Mhm.
think they're different enough,
Yeah.
and I don't think you should cancel for that. This is where I think you can as people, we can go, well, they're very, very similar, so if you like this one, you might like this one because a lot of people, especially in the romance community, would love this style.
Mhm.
Do you have others like this? And people love to flood.
Oh, yeah.
And yes, you should read this if you liked
I
this.
mean,
It's
think
going to be the
about
same.
even in our Facebook group. I have one not my group, I'm in a reading group, and they'll be, "Does anyone know a book that's similar to," and they'll name 5 books.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yes,
I
yeah.
think you can still enjoy it and not have to throw another book under the bus and be like, they totally copied this other book. You shouldn't read this one. You should only read this one. Support just this one.
Yeah, and by the way, that's everyday people doing that. It's not
Yeah.
like the authors or
It's not
whatever doing that.
others. No.
It's the drama that starts, but that is, we live in a world that has a cancel culture, and you know what? If you're of that age and in that culture, then you're gonna thrive in that whole culture.
Hmm.
I hope you never do anything that gets you, in quotes, "canceled," but, I'm a big believer in karma, so I'm just, "Hey, everyone do your own thing."
Yeah. You're like,
Love it.
oh, don't come at me.
But do not come at me for my opinion. Yeah, but anyway, I think it's a fine line. I think if they went to court, there's more there than we know,
Yeah, absolutely. There
and
has to be
then
more behind
yeah,
the scenes. This is just what we can see.
yeah, that's what we can see, but it is a huge,
Yep.
it is an issue.
And I just say, let it be.
Yeah, I can read a whole bunch of books that are similar to each other.
Yep. I just say, you know what? You saw the similarities, post about it in a way that's neutral so that other people who want to do it can read it and be
Mhm.
like, well, yeah, they were similar, but I liked this one better than this one, or I like both, or I didn't like either.
And also people do stuff on how it benefits them, because you could say, "Well, this book is gonna be similar to that one you just read because whatever, they copied it."
Yeah.
I'd be like, "Really? Because I love that one. I'm still gonna read the next one
And
or this other one." So it can work both ways.
yeah, that's exactly it. All righty. Well, there we go. Let's talk about next month's what's coming up because I'm super excited for it. Oh, TV shows. My choice.
Mhm,
We're going to watch DTF St. Louis. It's on HBO,
mhm,
has 7 episodes. I think you started watching the first one. I've
mhm.
not started at all, but I'm going to binge it because I want to make sure that I feel I want to finish it all.
'Kay, if you tell me you watched that whole show,
You're going to be shocked.
I'm gonna be shocked, because my husband said to me yesterday, because I said, "If Jade tells me she didn't finish this book, I'm gonna be so pissed, like, there's no way, it was so good." So then he said, "Well, why doesn't Jade just pick stuff she likes?" And I said, "Dean, we're alternating, right? We alternate." I said, "She'll DNF her own stuff." Okay.
There's
It's
no
not
winning.
because I picked it.
It's no winning.
It doesn't matter if she doesn't like it, she doesn't like it. She doesn't know she's not gonna
You're
like
like,
it.
I can't even mentally fathom.
Yeah. How do you live with yourself not knowing? Okay, so let's just briefly say, Jason Bateman, I love,
Yes.
he's in it. David Harbour, we all know by now, I love him. It's Linda Cardinelli. She was Velma in Scooby Doo
Wow, I love
movies.
that's the pick that you pick. I would have said she's Hawkeye's wife in Marvel.
Wow. Dude, she
Continue.
is a woman and she
Continue.
needs no man. And then I forgot who the other wife is. But basically, it is about 2 couples where the men are, "Hey, let's join this DTF." For
Which
those
means
innocent ears, I'm telling you right now, it's down to fuck. St. Louis. So DTF St. Louis, which is where they live, and it's supposed to be where they can hook up with people, no strings attached. And that is all you need to know, and
yep.
start watching.
And begin.
And I'm excited.
I'm excited too. Then we have 2 books. The first week is going to be The New House by Tess Stimpson. I'm
That was
super
my
excited.
sister's pick, technically.
Yeah, that was your pick, and
Let me
technically
give you
a
her
choice
phone
by
numbers. If you guys have a complaint, text her directly.
And then in our third week, we're going to have my pick, which is Ember Eternal by Chloe Neal. And she is a local author to Nebraska. So I've read some of her past work and I really liked it. So I'm excited for this new series that
Just have
she's
to thrive in fantasy worlds for a while.
fantasy.
I'll do it.
You will, and you're going to
Then
enjoy
I
it.
will love it.
Or you won't, but you're going to
But
finish
I'll
it.
finish it.
It doesn't matter. So I'm very excited for May.
Yeah, May's going to be good.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
We'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.